For the months of the year that my chickens don't get out on pasture, this is where they live. This is a day in the life. Now, if you look over here at the hens, they see this. They're very much interested in this. They know exactly what I'm doing. And then I'll take some of this grain. It's just sunflower seed that I grew here on the property last year. I got about 5 of these 5-gallon buckets worth of sunflower seed. And then I've got some additional corn that I grew as well that I've been feeding to them, and they seem to love it quite a bit. So at this point, I'll go ahead and I'll start incorporating this. And I've gotten a lot of the inspiration for what I've done here in this chicken yard is directly from watching their channel. They've got a great channel. He's doing some awesome stuff there on his farm. I've been able to take a lot of his good ideas and implement them here. The one thing that I would say is very different from how he runs it is I actually bury this stuff in here intentionally, which allows the hens to be a little bit more aggressive in extracting all of this seed. They go directly straight to work. When they're let out every morning, they scour these piles looking for that food, because they know that the deeper that they dig, the more food that they're going to find. Yeah, one of the other ways that they're so incentivized to come out and get straight to work is that they've already consumed the food that we've gave them last night. At nighttime, we feed them, and then they'll be able to consume it, go to bed at night with full bellies. And they'll get up again in the morning, finish cleaning that out, and then they're ready to eat some more by the time we let them out. So that's at the point at which we are right now. I'm gonna go ahead and open the gates and let the girls go to work. And here's the other girls here. Yeah, initially when I let these hens out in the morning, they run around pretty furiously at the start, looking for any of the low-hanging fruit, so to speak. But once they realize everything's pretty much been gathered up, they're gonna quickly go to work and begin breaking these piles down.
This next segment is a time-lapse representing 2 hours of work. I like to observe the hens in this way often because 1, it frees me up to do other things, and 2, I can observe flock dynamics without human distraction. If you'll notice, the majority of the activity is on the 2 piles in the front, and it's where I have placed the majority of their supplemental ration. It's interesting to observe when the hens locate a pocket of food, they tend to team up and work together to expose more food. Another benefit of this observation method is that I get to observe which breeds are the most active. Composting is a very important part of the systems that I have here on my property, and this observation method really helps to determine which of these breeds are going to work best for my system.
Well, it's sundown, and the hens have been in here working all day. We've got some that are ready for bed, and there's still some that are out. These girls here ready to come inside. They think it's dinner time. You guys coming? Come on. No, they're not quite ready. But let's take a look and see what they've done in here today. So these piles have been raked down pretty well. They've combed through them quite well. What I'll typically do in the evening, a lot of times, because these piles get mashed down to the point where they can't really get after what's inside, it's a little bit easier if I just kind of come by and I'll fluff it for them. It's easier to do this when I'm not holding the camera, but you get the idea. And I turn this over and they wind up getting these sprouts like right here. They love those. Those are sunflower seeds, sprouts. And so that kind of stuff is all throughout these piles. She's got some tortilla. There's some worms further so that they'll be able to get mostly all the way to the bottom of it. But there's all kinds of sprouts and just other biota. There's worm eggs in here. They really love the eggs from the worms, and then there's worms themselves. So there's just a bunch of protein in here for them to gather up and eat. Generally, I like to make them work these piles, but kind of from a demonstration standpoint, and sometimes I like to give them a little treat like this. But just so I can demonstrate what these hens are working toward. I had put a bunch of tortilla in here that I wound up getting out of a dumpster because, you know, free food that gets thrown away is good food, but there's all kinds of goodies underneath there for them. That entire flock behind me, those birds, they've all headed off to bed and they're waiting for their evening ration, and these hens are still out here putting in work. Just a difference in breeds, really. Difference in flocks. Go ahead and coax her over there just so we can get her inside. Come on. There you go. So we should have all 7 of them in here. So they won't quite finish all that food. They'll be able to go to bed tonight with full crops. And then there'll be some left over in the morning that they'll be able to get up and get a start to their day. But yet when they're coming out of that in the morning, they're ready to go back to work. Just part of the routine around here.
If you like this video, I'm going to put a link here directing you to our chicken playlist. Please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you back here next week.